What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very important warning about the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Deposit $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000 in your guaranteed 30. So, as far as the market is going, the market started to bounce with Jerome Powell's speech. Also, Tesla was due for a small bounce after so much downside. I guess we could argue that since we reclaimed 330 for now. We held above 330, so I said we should be retesting 340 if that's the case. That happened so far, but I still want to warn you guys to be very careful because even when you zoom out of Tesla on the daily chart, it's still technically on a downtrend. We'll see how high this could really go during this rebound, but there is a warning I have for everyone about the markets because Donald Trump is making a lot of headlines. So, what's happening with Donald Trump? What's going on? Let's talk about some major news. There's lots of headlines and sources saying that it says it right over here. Trump may unveil his most sweeping tariffs today. And what do we know about them? We're going to go over that. So, as a reminder, on Monday, Donald Trump said that on Tuesday or Wednesday, he will most likely be announcing more tariffs on more countries. He argues that this is his way of leveling the playing field and that this is going to be very important for economic policy. Right now, Jerome Powell is actually speaking in front of Congress, the U.S. House of Representatives. And just know that he did maintain his soft landing narrative, but when asked about these tariffs, he didn't really comment on them. He can't really do that. So he's not going to say much about this so far. He is currently speaking in front of the House, but I kind of got a headache just listening to all this politics talk, so I decided to just make a video instead. So I'm not seeing much from that. So the market pumped a bit only to start dipping. And now I think the main thing right now is going to be this. There's all this news coming out about the Trump tariffs that could be coming out. So what do we know about this, at least thus far? Trump said that he's going to be announcing his reciprocal tariffs very soon, possibly today. More sources are saying that Trump's trade advisors have come together and they're forging these plans and they're very close to making the announcement. And then Trump said that the duties would go into effect almost immediately on every country, according to Trump. Very simply, if it's basically like this: if they charge us, we charge them. That's how Trump summarized it about how the policy is going to change. The reciprocal tariffs are going to be very straightforward in theory, but don't forget there's going to be some short-term negative consequences, right? We know this could lead to inflation going up for the short term and GDP contracting just for the short term. I'm just talking about that. I'm not going to comment on the long term about this because we know there could be some good things and bad things that come. But for the short term, I'm just trying to say there's going to be this disruption. And as a result, it's going to affect the overall markets. So we don't know exactly what these tariffs are going to look like. We don't know exactly which countries he's going to be announcing them for. There are lots of sources suggesting it might be the EU, and it may affect some Asian countries such as Japan and maybe Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam. We're not as sure about those, in Germany. But for sure, most likely, it's looking like the EU is going to be included, and maybe Japan. So we'll see what Trump ends up saying. Some sources say that this could be like, one of the biggest moves that he makes during his presidency so far. So we'll see. Donald Trump should be announcing it soon. He keeps saying, and he's been saying he's going to make this announcement. So we're just waiting. They did announce a 25% tariff on aluminum and steel, but since then, there's nothing else, and we're just waiting for the big announcement. But like I said before, we're seeing a lot of sources saying that it might be today. Today might be the day Donald Trump makes this announcement. Maybe later on during the day. Maybe it's after the market close. I don't know exactly when. So at any given moment, this guy can make his announcements. Will it be tomorrow? Who knows? It's going to be very soon, right? Most likely today or tomorrow. Very soon, he's going to make the announcement, and it's going to cause the market to shake. So make sure you guys are ready for this. Make sure you guys are prepared for a very big move that's coming. And even though the market has tried to rebound a bit, I'm just here to give you guys a warning about this. Like, I'd be very careful with the way I'm trading, the way I'm looking at a lot of different things. So for Tesla, we're going to be looking at this 340 area to see if Tesla could reclaim this or not. And then we have resistance around this 346, this 346 area where the gap is. If we can't hold above 340, though, there's going to be a risk of us returning back down to 330. And if that doesn't hold us, we're going to be at risk of returning to where these wicks are, all the way down to 326 and then 322. Most likely, what I think is going to happen is Tesla will try to push, but then it might slow down as time goes on, since the downtrend is continuing. And if the whole market gets a rug pulled thanks to these tariffs, it's going to be affecting Tesla. So I want to give you guys a heads up about that, give you guys a warning. We could return to the 320s or below if we get the tariff announcement. Now, how about SPY? How's SPY looking? Like I said before, if you look at the 4 hour time frame, I love to use the 4 hour for direction. um, I've backtested this a lot, by the way, for those who are curious about why I use this. But anyways, rejection, 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 rejection off the trend line. We dipped really hard after CPI was a lot harder than expected, at least on every metric. And with CPI going up a bit, the market recovered a little bit thanks to Jerome Powell's speech in front of Congress. But now it's looking a little bit lackluster. So if you look at, for example, the 30 minutes time frame, big dump, a little recovery. Now it's rejecting again, so it may continue this decline. So just keep that in mind. Not looking that great. I would like to see SPY reclaim like 603 to really start pushing. Otherwise, this is going to be at risk of rejecting, continuing to fall. Our targets are going to be 600 to see if that holds. If not, we're looking for 598 and then 596. If that fails us, I think we dump all the way down to 590. And then if that fails us, we dip all the way down to 584 to fill the gap. So watch all those supports. SPY is a little bit lackluster. And then whether or not we get a big dump now or later may depend on some factors. So we'll see what Donald Trump ends up saying. Does he give us that very, very big announcement? It's going to be very important for economic policy. Get ready, guys. Also, keep in mind that when it comes to SPY, okay, during this move, SPY was at 609. Donald Trump announced the tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada. And in one day, we went from 609 to 590. We dropped 20 points in one day, right? That's how much these tariffs affect us. Then we made a nice recovery when the news came out that the Canadian and Mexican tariffs were basically delayed with some negotiations. So we started this full recovery move. We retested 608 on Friday, and then the market dumped as Trump announced that he's going to make another announcement about tariffs. Right? We dumped about, that was like 8 points. So in this case, we're currently sitting in the 600s. If Trump announces these tariffs, it's not just an announcement about the announcement. It's literally him announcing the percentages, the rates, which countries are involved. That could cause a big move down, at least for the temporary term. Okay, so I want to give you guys a heads up about that. On the QQQ, we had this channel. We were trying to hold this and we rejected. So we're trying to see if 524 holds. If that doesn't hold, we could be dipping closer to 520. To balance, you want to reclaim 528. Otherwise, this does favor that it might start dipping lower as time goes on. So just be careful. On the Russell, we have our main support at 220 and also at 222. If 222 fails us, we're looking for 220. There's going to be a risk of some downside looking at the trend. On ES, we got a rejection off these trend lines. So we're watching support at 60.48. If that does not hold on ES, this could be at risk of dipping closer to the lower 6,000s, like 6,020, and eventually 6,000 flat. So be careful. We're starting to show more signs of rejection, not looking that great. On NQ, the same thing is going on. We got this resistance rejected over and over again. Look at resistance at 21,750, excuse me. And we have support at 21,584. That's our range on NQ. If we lose 21,584, whether it's right now or after the tariff announcements come out, just hypothetically, then if that ends up happening, right, we're looking for a dip down to these lows right here on the 21,400s. So just want to give you guys a heads up about that. For Bitcoin, we could be retesting 95,000 or below. On Nvda, we tested 128 exactly as predicted. 128 was tested. We're looking at 130 right now. We're going to likely shuffle between 133 and 128 for some time until the tariff announcements come out, and we'll see how that affects us. So we're just waiting to see. Like I said about Tesla, could try to push closer to 340. We already touched it. And then we'll see if we can break past it or not. If we can't, we will return back down to 330 or below. For now, Tesla's a bit more resilient after it already saw so much downside, so it was due for a bounce. But the tariff news could still affect Tesla, so I want to give you guys a heads up about that. Aapl has resistance at 231. I'm sorry, not 231, 236. Our support is going to be closer to 231. If we could break this, it could attempt to push up to like 240, but we'll see just to be safe. The setup is a bit more bullish. If it breaks 236, it could try to push higher, but don't forget that tariff news could affect this. Just a few more I'm going to go over. Coinbase is looking at support at 263. It's doing a good job at trying to hold that, and also at 268. So if we reclaim like 275, then this could really bounce. If not, this will likely just be range bound and just consolidate. Amazon's looking a little bit heavier. We have like a head and shoulders here. I mentioned this earlier, it looks kind of weak. I would love to see it break 233 to really bounce. If as long as we're below that, we're going to favor a move closer to like 228 again, then eventually 225. On Meta had resistance up here around this 720 area. It's trying to reclaim that. If we don't break past that, we're going to likely return to 713, soon to the 20 EMA. Microsoft's on a bit of a downtrend. We're going to be looking for this to continue to dip closer to about the lower 400s. It's barely holding support at 407, might be retesting 405 to 404. And then Google had this previous resistance becoming support at 183. If that fails, we could be dipping even more. So with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a good rest of your day, and just know that as far as this market is going, I would be very careful because, yes, it's trying to rebound a bit. Sure, Tesla has tried a little bit, but at the same time, you have to be careful with the potential announcements. There's sources saying that he's going to make the announcement today. I don't know for sure exactly when he's going to do it, but I just know that very soon he will at this point because he already said he will. It's just a matter of time, and his advisors have said that there's been a lot of progress made so far. They're negotiating, and very soon things can be coming. So you guys can see there's plans that he may be signing the order as soon as Wednesday, right? So between now and tomorrow, something really big could be coming. I'll keep you guys updated if something comes out, and we'll see what ends up happening. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I wish you all the best, and I'll be back with another update in just a couple of hours. Until then, thank you for listening, and peace out.